I died with a bullet in my chest and a Polaroid fluttering from my fingers like a dying butterfly. The last thing I saw was my boyfriend's face, twisted not in remorse, but in cold calculation, as he watched me bleed out on the cold warehouse floor in Brooklyn. "You were never supposed to find out."
It was bad.
His voice steady as the trigger pull that ended me. 5 years of love, betrayal, and buried secrets, all culminating in that single, damning shot from the camera I'd bought on a whim at a flea market. And then, nothing. Blackness. Until the world snapped back into focus. Sharp and disorienting. Like waking from a nightmare only to realize you're still trapped in it. I gasped, my hands flying to my throat, no blood. No pain. The air smelled of stale coffee and rain-damp concrete. Not gunpowder and rust. My reflection stared back at me from a grimy pawn shop window, 25 years old, wide-eyed, alive. Not the 30-year-old corpse I'd become. The date on my phone confirmed it, October 15th, 2020. 5 years before the warehouse. 5 years before the betrayal that cost me everything. I'd done it. Reborn.
重生.
As those old Vietnamese folktales my mom used to whisper called it. A second chance. Courtesy of whatever cosmic joke the universe decided to play. But second chances aren't gifts, they're weapons. And I was going to wield mine like the blade it was. That camera, the one with the single photo left inside, had started it all. In my first life, I'd bought it from this sketchy old guy in a Hell's Kitchen flea market stall, drawn by its battered leather case and the promise of vintage vibes for my freelance photography gigs. Snapped a few shots of the city. Nothing special. Then, on a rainy afternoon, I'd fiddled with the film pack, and out popped that last undeveloped photo. It was blurry at first, but when it sharpened under the dim light of my apartment, it hit me like a freight train, a candid of my boyfriend, Alex, huddled in a shadowed booth at a dive bar, handing a thick envelope to a man with a scar across his jaw. The timestamp? 2 weeks before he proposed to me. The envelope? Stuffed with cash from a deal that would later unravel into embezzlement, corporate espionage, and my untimely death. I'd confronted him. Piecing together the puzzle, Alex wasn't just a rising star at Vanguard Media, the cutthroat New York ad agency, where we both worked. He was dirty, laundering money for Victor Hale, the agency's silver-haired CEO, a man whose public persona screamed philanthropy, but whose backroom deals funded everything from offshore accounts to silencing whistleblowers. I'd been the perfect cover, the wide-eyed girlfriend, the talented photographer whose shots made their campaigns pop. Until I found that photo. Until I threatened to expose them. And just like that, I became the loose and they tied off with a silenced pistol.
Now.
Standing outside that same pawn shop, heart pounding like a war drum, I knew exactly what I had to do. Revenge wasn't a vague fantasy. It was a blueprint, etched into my soul from the grave. But it had to be smart. Calculated. American as apple pie and a loaded gun, ruthless. Efficient. And wrapped in the stars and stripes hypocrisy we all pretend doesn't exist.
No slappy vigilante bullshit.
I'd play their game, but I'd rewrite the rules. I pushed open the door, the bell jingling like a mocking laugh. The old man behind the counter, same greasy ponytail, same yellowed teeth, looked up from his crossword. Back for more junk. Sweetheart. Not junk, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. That Polaroid. The SX-70. You still got it, he grunted, eyeing me like I was a mark. Sold it last week to some hipster chick.
Why?
You stalking old tech now. My stomach twisted, but I forced a smile. Hipster chick, that was me.
Last time.
Nah. Just nostalgia. How much for something similar? We haggled for 20 minutes. Me channeling the broke artist charm I'd honed in my first life. Walked out with a beat-up Canon AE, one for $50. Close enough. No photo inside. But that didn't matter. The real shot was in my head. Burned there forever. As I stepped into the October chill, snapping a test frame of the bustling sidewalk, commuters dodging puddles, yellow cabs honking, I felt the weight of it all settle. This time, I'd document everything. Every lie, every deal, every drop of metaphorical blood. Back in my tiny Astoria apartment, rent-controlled heaven with peeling wallpaper and a view of the elevated train, I dumped my bag and paced. The place was a time capsule, posters of Annie Leibovitz prints curling at the edges. My Nikon gathering dust on the shelf. Alex wouldn't slither into my life for another month. Not until that networking event at the Standard. But Victor Hale? He was already king of the castle at Vanguard. His office a glass-walled throne overlooking Times Square. In my first life, I'd idolized him, charmed by his TED Talk charisma. His empower women in media shtick. What a crock. The man was a predator in Brooks Brothers, preying on ambition like mine. I needed allies. People who wouldn't sell me out. First call, Jamie. My old roommate from NYU Film School. She was still waitressing at that Soho bistro, dreaming of directing. In my first life, she'd been my rock until Alex convinced her I was unstable after the confrontation. Turned out he'd slipped her a few grand to ghost me. This time, I'd flipped the script. Holy shit. It's been forever. Jamie's voice crackled over the line, warm and whiskey rough from a late shift. What's up? You finally ditching that corporate grind? Something like that, I lied, sinking onto my futon. Listen, I need a favor. Meet me at our old spot tomorrow? The one with the killer mimosas. She laughed.
Bitch.
It's brunch o'clock. You're on. Hanging up. I scrolled through my contacts sparse. Thank God. No Alex yet. No Hale sycophants. Just ghosts of potential. My plan crystallized. Infiltrate Vanguard from the ground up. Land that junior photographer gig. The one that hooked me last time. But this round, I'd plant seeds of doubt. Leak whispers. Build a dossier that could topple empires. Night fell. The city humming outside like a beast ready to pounce. I couldn't sleep. Flashes of the warehouse invaded, the metallic tang of blood. Alex's cologne mixing with cordite. Hale's voice on speakerphone saying, "Clean it up." I jolted awake at 3 a.m., sweat-soaked, and grabbed the Canon. Snapped my reflection in the mirror, eyes hollow, jaw set.
Click.
Proof of life. Proof of war. By dawn, I was out the door, a coffee in hand, subway rattling toward Manhattan. The agency loomed like a monolith, Vanguard Media's HQ, a sleek tower of steel and glass piercing the skyline. I'd aced the interview last time, portfolio sparkling with street shots of diverse faces, the kind that made brands feel inclusive. This time, I'd amp it up. Add edge. Controversy. A series on hidden New York, capturing the underbelly, homeless vets in Penn Station, gig workers burning out under fluorescent lights. Make them see me not as a pretty face, but a threat wrapped in talent. The receptionist buzzed me in, her smile plastic. MS. Rossi? They're ready for you. Rossi, my Italian grandma's name. A shield against the world. I straightened my thrift store blazer and stepped into the lion's den. Hale's junior exec, a weaselly guy named Trent,
Interviewed me.
Slick hair, Rolex peeking from cuffs. Amelia, your work's bold. But bold can be
Risky.
We like safe cells. I leaned forward, locking eyes. Safe cells soap. Bold cells revolutions. Pick your poison. He blinked, then chuckled nervously. You're hired. Start Monday. Victory tasted like bile. As I left, I caught a glimpse of Hale through the glass walls, silver fox in a power suit, laughing with Alex's future mentor. Our eyes met for a split second. He didn't know me yet. But he would. That night, over mimosas with Jamie, I tested the waters. Ever feel like the system's rigged? Like, the big dogs at places like Vanguard are wolves in sheep's clothing. She swirled her glass, eyes narrowing. Girl, every day.
Why?
You sniffing around there? Just curious, I said, casual as sin. But inside, the gears turned. Phase 1, infiltrate. Phase 2, expose the rot. And when the time came, Phase 3, burn it all down. Little did I know, the first crack in my armor came sooner than expected. A text from an unknown number. Nice shots. Amelia. But watch your back. Not everyone's who they seem. Attached, a blurry photo of me, leaving the agency. Taken from across the street. My blood ran cold. Someone was already watching. The game had begun. The anonymous text sat on my phone like a lit fuse, mocking me as I scrolled through it for the 100th time that night. Who the hell was this? A guardian angel or Hale's early warning system? In my first life, paranoia had been my undoing. I'd dismissed red flags as stress, letting Alex isolate me with sweet nothings and late-night takeout. This time, I'd weaponize it. I screenshotted the message, filed it under evidence, and hit reply. Thanks for the tip. Coffee sometime? I buy. No response. Figures. New York was full of ghosts, digital and otherwise. I tossed the phone aside and cracked open my laptop, diving into the digital graveyard of my past. A quick VPN hopped to the dark web forums I'd bookmarked in desperation before my death. Vanguard wasn't just an ad agency. It was a front. Hale's empire laundered funds for political PACs, greased palms for zoning favors in the gentrifying hoods. And Alex? He'd been the perfect lieutenant, charming, ambitious, with a side hustle in blackmail porn for the elite. That photo, from the camera? Just the tip. There were videos, ledgers, bodies in metaphorical barrels. But secrets like that didn't stay buried without accomplices. Jamie was clean. But who else? My mind flashed to Lena, the sharp-tongued copywriter who'd mentored me last time. She'd known, hell. She'd covered for Alex once, deleting an incriminating email by accident. Was she coerced or complicit? I'd find out. Monday morning hit like a caffeine crash. Vanguard's open-plan floor buzzed with millennial hustle, MacBooks clacking, cold brew fountains gurgling, motivational posters screaming, disrupt or die. Trent handed me my badge. Welcome to the family, Rossi, and pointed to a corner desk piled with campaign briefs. My first assignment, shoot a diversity spotlight for Hale's pet client, A tech startup peddling AI ethics while spying on users. Ironic? Understatement. I spent the day framing shots, smiling faces from Queens, Harlem, the Bronx, all polished to fit the narrative. But between clicks, I snooped. The office was a sieve, unlocked drawers, shared drives with passwords like Vanguard 123. By lunch, I'd snapped candids on my phone, Hale's assistant shredding docs, Trent texting furiously about the drop tonight. Subtle, but damning. Afternoon brought the first test. Alex waltzed in early, uninvited,
Playing the networking game. God.
He was beautiful in that predatory way, tousled dark hair, gym-sculpted shoulders under a fitted button-down, smile like a shark in khakis. 26. Fresh from Columbia MBA. Interning at a rival firm but sniffing around for full-time. In my first life, I'd fallen hard at this rooftop mixer 6 months from now. This time, I'd bait the hook. Emilia Rossi, he said, extending a hand as Trent introduced us. His grip lingered, testing. Heard your portfolio's killer. Mind if I tag along on a shoot sometime? I met his eyes, channeling ice over fire. Only if you can keep up. I move fast. He laughed. That low rumble that once melted me. Challenge accepted. As he sauntered off, I fought the urge to smash my camera over his skull. Patience.
Eminência.
Let him think he's the hunter. That night, I met Jamie at a dive in the East Village, neon buzz, sticky floors, the kind of place where secrets spilled easier than beer. Over IPAs. I floated the probe. Ever hear whispers about Vanguard? Shady deals. Maybe. She shrugged. But her eyes flicked guilt, caution. Corporate world's a cesspool.
Eminência.
Why dig? Because someone I trust tipped me off. And trust? That's in short supply. We clinked glasses. But the seed was planted. Jamie promised to poke around her network. Bartenders heard everything. As I walked home through Alphabet City's graffiti glow,
My phone buzzed again.
Unknown. Smart play with the intern. But Hale's got eyes everywhere. Check the archives. Folder, legacy. Delete this. My pulse spiked. Archives? Vanguard server was firewalled, but I had a week-old temp access. Slipping into bed, I fired at my laptop. VPN engaged. Navigating the shared drive was child's play, until legacy. Password protected. I brute-forced it with Hale's birthday, public record. The vain bastard, and bingo. Files upon files. Scanned ledgers from 2015. Emails tying Vanguard to a slush fund for Senator Harlan's re-election. Harlan, the golden boy of New York Dems. All smiles and subway selfies. But in reality, Hale's puppet. Deeper in, a subfolder labeled collateral. Photos. Grainy shots of me from my first life. Me at the flea market, buying the camera. Me developing that fatal Polaroid in my apartment.
Surveillance.
They'd been watching before I even knew there was a storm. Rage boiled. Hot and clarifying. This wasn't just betrayal, it was erasure. They'd profiled me as a threat from day one, Alex feeding them intel like a good boy. But how? I hadn't breathed a word until the photo. Then it hit, the twist in my gut. The anonymous texter. Ally or plant? I replied. Who are you? What's your angle? Minutes ticked. Then, someone who lost more than you. Name's Riley.
Ex-Vanguard.
Meet tomorrow. Washington Square.
10 Uhr morgens.
Come alone. Riley. The name tugged, a ghost from the fringes. In my first life, she'd been a junior accountant, fired for insubordination 6 months before my death.
Suicide.
The obit said. Overdose. But whispers in the office. She'd uncovered Hale's laundering, confronted Alex. Another loose end. Sleep evaded me. The city's siren wail, a lullaby from hell. Dawn broke gray and drizzling. I dressed sharp, jeans, leather jacket, cannon slung like a talisman, and headed to the square. Archways loomed. Students hustling to classes, buskers strumming off-key. Riley waited on a bench by the Garibaldi statue. Hood up, face gaunt under stringy blonde hair. Mid-30s. Eyes like shattered glass. You look just like your file, she said. No hello. Voice smoke rough. Jersey accent thick. Flattery'll get you nowhere. Talk. She slid a USB drive across the bench. Everything, wires. Witnesses. Hale's Cayman accounts. Alex was my CI once. Thought he was redeemable. Big mistake. I pocketed it. Heart hammering.
Dead now. Car accident?
6 months back. But not before he flipped on me. Her laugh was bitter. Hale's cleaning house. You're next if you push. I leaned in. Why help? What's in it for you? Absolution. And a shot at the bastard who took my brother. She stood, melting into the crowd. Use it wisely, Amelia. Or don't use it at all. The drive burned in my pocket as I bolted for the subway. Back home, I plugged it in, jackpot. Timestamps synced with my memories, Alex's bar meet. The envelope handoff. But a new layer, videos. Hale in a private club, toasting with Harlan over the Rossi problem. My name, already on their lips.
How?
The photo. I'd bought the camera weeks before, but the shot inside was from months prior. Planted. By whom? A knock shattered the silence. Heart in throat. I peered through the peephole. Trent. From work. Smiling too wide. Amelia? Quick chat about the campaign. I grabbed the cannon, framing him through the lens.
Click.
Insurance. One SEC. I called. Voice honey. As I opened the door, his eyes darted, searching. For the drive? For weakness?
Come in, I said.
Let the shadows play. Trent stepped inside like he owned the place. All false joviality and cologne that screamed, trying too hard. My apartment felt smaller with him in it, walls closing in. The cannon heavy in my bag, like a concealed carry. Great space, he lied. Eyes scanning shelves for what? The USB? My notes? Cozy. Artistic vibe. Fits you. Thanks, I said, forcing a laugh as I busied myself with coffee mugs.
Stall.
Assess. In my first life, Trent had been the errand boy, Hale's whisper, Alex's drinking buddy. Harmless until he wasn't, slipping roofies into my drink at the office holiday party to loosen me up for intel. This time, I'd flip him like a bad exposure. So, the campaign he started, perching on my futon like a vulture. Hale loves your shots, but he wants more. Intimacy. Personal stories. You game. Intimacy. Code for vulnerability. Dig for dirt. I handed him a mug, black. No sugar. Just how I'd overheard him order once, and sat across. Knees touching his in the tight space. Proximity as power. Depends. What's Hale's angle? He strike you as the personal type? Trent sipped. Winced too hot.
Good.
Boss man's all heart. That charity gala next week? Your ticket to the inner circle. The gala. Black tie trap, where deals were sealed in champagne flutes. And loose lips like mine got silenced. In my first life, Alex had proposed there. Rings sparkling under chandeliers while Hale watched from the shadows. Already plotting my exit. This round, I'd crash it as the ingenue. But armed. Sounds fun, I purred. Count me in. Need a +1. His eyes lit, hooked. Alex mentioned you're single. He's interning with us next month. You know. There it was.
The bait.
Alex.
Huh.
Charming guy.
They met briefly.
Trent leaned in. Conspiratorial. More than charming. Hale's grooming him. Kid's got balls. Uncovered a little irregularity in the books last quarter. Saved our asses. Balls? Try complicity. My skin crawled. Memories flooding. Alex's hands on me post-fight. Bruising apologies. His phone buzzing with Hale's text during our make-up sex. I'd excused it as stress. Now, fuel. Impressive, I said, standing to check the kettle. From the corner of my eye, I watched him, fidgeting, glancing at my laptop. Amateur. As I turned, I accidentally knocked my bag, the cannon tumbling out. Film canister rolled toward him. He froze. Old school.
Cool.
I snatched it up, heart thundering. Vintage. Snaps the truth. You know, no filters. Message received. He shifted.
Right.
Well. Gala deets incoming. See ya. Rossi. Door clicked shut. I exhaled, double-locking it. Dialed Jamie. Change of plans. Dig on Trent Whitaker. Ex-military?
Debts.
On it, she said. You okay? Sound spooked. Always. But I wasn't. This was clarity. The USB's contents kept me up till 2 a.m., Riley's goldmine. Emails chaining Hale to Harlan's pack. Kickbacks disguised as consulting fees. One gem, a voice memo. Alex's voice. Post-meet with the scarred man. It's done. Envelope's clean. Rossi's clueless. Thinks it's just campaign swag. Clueless. The word stung like salt in a wound. But the real gut punch? A photo buried in metadata. The Polaroid's origin. Timestamp July 2020, 3 months before I bought the camera. Taken at a Vanguard offsite. Alex posing with Hale. The scarred guy in the background. The camera had been Hale's prop, gift to employees. Rigged with preloaded film. That random flea market find? Planted. They'd seeded my downfall before I even walked in the door. Bastards. Meticulous. American dream-devouring bastards. Hale didn't just betray, he orchestrated symphonies of ruin. And Alex? His eager apprentice. Morning brought a break. Jamie texted. Trent, dishonorable discharge. Gambling debts up the wazoo. Owes bookies in Atlantic City. Leverage?
Plenty.
But I needed more than dirt. I needed players. I hit the streets, cannon in hand, shooting hidden New York redux, not the polished version.
But raw.
A Dominican abuela selling tamales under the Queensboro Bridge, her eyes weary from eviction notices. A trans activist chaining to a developer's fence in Bushwick, Hale's latest revitalization project displacing families. Each click built my portfolio and my case. Controversy as currency. By week's end, Trent cornered me in the break room. Hale wants you at the gala.
Solo.
Make an impression. Will do. I smiled, slipping him a print for my series. Him. Blurry in my doorway. Souvenir. His face paled. Game on. The gala was at the Met Cloisters, Gothic arches cloaked in Manhattan opulence. Donors in tuxes mingling with champagne sabers. I arrived in a borrowed sheath dress, black as midnight, hair pinned like armor. Jamie hooked me up with makeup, smoky eyes for war paint. Inside, the air hummed with power, Harlan glad-handing, Hale holding court by a tapestry of medieval hunts. I wove through, snapping candids for the agency feed. Then, Alex. He spotted me across the room, gravitating like a moth. Amelia. You clean up lethal. Flattery's free, I said, clinking flutes. You, surviving. His hand brushed mine, electric. Nauseating. Dance. One song. Waltz under chandeliers. Close enough to smell his betrayal. Heard your vanguard bound.
Congrats.
Family's thrilled. Lie, his folks were Jersey plumbers. Ashamed of his fancy ways. You? Fitting right in. Like a glove. I pulled back, spotting Hale approaching. Showtime. Hale enveloped me in a hug, paternal poison. Amelia, your shots are revolutionizing our brand. Join us for cigars later. Cigars? I arched a brow.
Pass.
Allergies. He chuckled, but his eyes probed.
Pity.
Good talk there. As he drifted, Alex leaned in. He's intense.
Huh.
But loyal. Saved my ass once.
Loyal.
The word twisted. To what end? Before he could answer, my phone vibrated. Riley, booth 7.
Now.
Harlan's dropping names. I excused myself. Heart racing. The cloister's side alcove, shadowed booths for private donors. Harlan's voice carried, boomy, bourbon slurred. Rossi girl's a wild card. Hale says monitor. But if she digs. I framed it through a curtain gap. Click, silent on my phone.
Gold.
But as I backed away, a hand clamped my shoulder. Trent. Breath hot. What the fuck are you doing? Confrontation. Here.
Now.
Snapping memories, I hissed, twisting free. Jealous. His grip tightened. Hale knows you're poking. Drop it. Or what? Your bookie's call. I shoved the print in his face, the doorway shot. We both have debts. He recoiled, face ashen. How? Pay up, Trent. Or this goes viral. I slipped away, pulse thundering, into the crowd. Victory?
Or checkmate.
Alex found me later. Concern etched. You okay? Looked spooked. Always am around sharks. I smiled. Brittle. Wanna get air? Rooftop terrace, city sprawl glittering like a promise of ruin. We talked flirty.
Feigned.
He kissed me under the stars. Soft and insistent. I let him. For a beat. Tasting the lie. Pulling back. Too soon? Never, he murmured. Hook set. But as we parted, Riley's text, trap sprung. Run. Sirens wailed distant. The game escalated. The sirens weren't for me, not yet. But Riley's warning echoed like a gunshot in my skull as I cabbed home from the gala. Alex's kiss lingering like bad aftertaste. The USB and phone shots burned holes in my bag. Each red light felt like a checkpoint in Hale's web. By Ostoria. Paranoia peaked. I doubled back twice, scanning for tails.
Clear. But sleep?
A joke. I barricaded the door. Laptop glowing as I uploaded everything to an encrypted Dropbox. Shares queued to Jamie. A burner email for Riley. And controversial call. A journalist contact from my first life, Sarah Klein at the Village Voice. She'd buried my tip last time, calling it unsubstantiated. This round, irrefutable proof. Dawn cracked with a bang, literal. Pounding on the door. Amelia, it's Jamie, open up. She burst in, wild-eyed, clutching coffees like shields. Girl, what the hell? Trent's blowing up my phone, says you threatened him. And this. She thrust her phone, a blurry gala pic of me in the alcove. Harlan's booth framed behind. Tagged. Vanguard Rising Star? Or Troublemaker?
Shit.
Social media shrapnel. It's leverage, I said, pulling her to the table.
Sit.
We need to talk, all of it. Over burnt toast. I spilled. Not the rebirth that stayed buried, my mad secret. But the dirt. Hale's laundering. Alex's role. The planted camera. Riley's ghost in the machine. Jamie's face drained color by color.
Ink.
This is felony level. FBI. Not brunch chat. FBI's bot, I countered. Harlan's got them in pocket. We go public. Anonymous leaks. Time drops. Burn them before they burn me. She paced. Chewing her lip, classic Jamie. Director's instinct warring with self-preservation. Controversial as fuck. You'll be the villain. Disgruntled employee tanks empire. Worth it. My voice cracked. First life's warehouse flashing, blood pooling. Alex's I love you a lie. They killed for less. I won't let them win again. A beat. Then, I'm in. But we need more. Proof of intent. Riley delivered that afternoon, a dead drop in the square, manila envelope under the bench. Inside, a flash drive with audio, hail to Alex. Post-gala, Rossi saw too much. Handle it like the accountant. Quiet. The accountant. Riley's predecessor. My stomach churned. Leverage turned lethal. Phase 2 ignited. I fed Sarah Klein a teaser. Redacted ledger snippet. Time-stamped to Harlan's pack. Source close to Vanguard. Anonymous. The Voice ran it Friday. Add giant ties to political slush fund? Insider whispers. Twitter, X now. In this timeline exploded. Vanguard Gate trended. Memes of Hale as Thanos snapping ethics away. Vanguard reeled. Monday. The office was a pressure cooker. Whispers like steam. Trent avoiding my gaze.
Heartless door sealed.
Alex cornered me in the stairwell. Face stormy.
Ink.
What's this shit online? You hear anything? Innocent act, Oscar-worthy. I played dumb. Heart-twisting. Scary, right? Hope it's not us. He pulled me close.
Urgent.
Look, things are heating. Dinner tonight? My place. Talk it out. Trap? Or desperation? I nodded, planting a seed. Your lead. His Brooklyn loft, exposed brick. Skyline views. The illusion of success. He cooked pasta carbonara. My favorite. Weaponized nostalgia. Over wine. He probed. You're tense. The leak's freaking you. A bit. I twirled noodles, watching him. You? Hale must be pissed. He shrugged. Too casual. Boss man's resilient.
But yeah.
Change is coming. His hand on mine squeeze. Stick with me.
Eminência.
We'll ride it out. Ride to the grave? I excused to the bathroom. Snapping his phone on the counter. Unlocked. Godsend. Text to Trent. Rossi pushy. Plant something? My blood boiled. Back at table. Alex. That photo you took at the offsite. With the camera Hale gave out. Remember? His fork paused. Vaguely. Why? Just. Nostalgia.
Lie.
I sipped wine spiked. Taste off. But I faked sips. When he dozed post-meal, roofie in his glass. Jamie's pharmacy hookup I rifled. Laptop open. Emails damning. To Hale. Rossi digging. Suggest diversion. Romance her. Then discredit.
Bastard.
I copied files. Left a printout on his desk. The Polaroid. Circled. Wake-up call. Slipped out at midnight. Cab to Jamie's. We drop the hammer tomorrow. Full leak. She nodded.
Fierce.
Twist. Harlan's presser at noon. Time it there. Controversy peaked. Morning headlines screamed escalation. FBI looking into Vanguard. Hale called an all-hands. Frosty. Folksy. Rumors are just that. We're family here. Eyes on me.
Steal.
Post-meeting. Alex texted. We need to talk.
Now.
Attached, the printout photo. Panic mode. I met him in Central Park, benches by the Bethesda fountain. Tourists oblivious. He stormed up. Photo crumpled. What the fuck?
Ain't
this yours? Found it, I said cool. Like you found Riley's secrets. His face crumpled, shock. Then mask. You don't know shit. I know the camera was bait. I know Hale's accounts. I know you pulled the trigger in my slip. I caught it. In my nightmares. He grabbed my arm. Bruising. Listen. It's not. Hale forced it. Walk away. Or what? Kill me. Voice low. Venomous. Try. A beat. Then. Twist, tears.
Ain't. I didn't want this.
Hale's got dirt on my family.
Debts.
But you? I fell for real. Bullshit symphony. But doubt flickered. First life's Alex. Vulnerable post-fight. Prove it. Walk away. Testify. He searched my face.
Can't.
They'd. Phone buzzed mine. Sarah. Leak live. Chaos. X lit up. Full docs. Audio clips. Harlan's presser imploded. Reporters swarming. Comment on the murder plot? Hale's empire cracked. Stocks dipped. Packs dissolved. But retaliation swift. Anonymous post. Rossi. Bitter X with forged evidence. My face plastered. Doxed. Alex's grip loosened. Run.
Eminência.
They're coming. I wrenched free. Bolting through the park. Sirens wailed, real now. Twist. A black SUV idled at the gate. Trent behind wheel.
Chase.
Heart exploding. I dodged joggers. Leaped the wall to Fifth Avenue. Horns blared. Footsteps pounded. Rossi, cornered in an alley, ironic echo of the warehouse.
Trent cornered me.
Gun drawn, silenced, just like before. Hale says hi. Click my cannon. Flash popping. Blinded him. I lunged, knee to groin. Grab for the gun. Struggle grunts. Scrapes. Shot wild. Ricocheting off brick. Then, chaos, tires screech. Riley's beat-up Honda rams the alley mouth.
Door flying.
Get in.
I dove?
Gun tumbling. We peeled out. Trent cursing in the dust. Safe house, Riley's jersey bolt hole. Sagging couch and takeout boxes. You shot the photo, I gasped. The one in the camera. She nodded, lighting a smoke. Planted it for you. Knew you'd find it, profiling said so. Wanted an ally.
Ally.
The anonymous texts. Why me? 'Cause you're fire. And Hale took my brother. Overdose cover for a hit. Bond forged in ash. But the net tightened. FBI raids on Vanguard.
Hale vaniset.
Alex in custody. Interrogation footage leaked. Him cracking. Naming names. My decision loomed. Testify. Expose all. Including my instability spin. Controversial. Frame it as self-defense. Risk jail. Or vanish. Let the machine grind. Jamie called. Sarah's got a deal. Whistleblower protection. But it's public. Your face. Your story.
Public.
The American way, glory or guillotine. Protection sounded like a cage. Gilded with press conferences and NDAs. But vanishing? That was death by another name, fading into witness limbo. Riley's path to ghosts.
No.
I'd claim the narrative. Twist it like a lens flare into truth. American justice, flawed, flashy, fueled by spectacle. I'd make it my circus. The presser was a zoo, CNN trucks idling outside the federal courthouse. Mics thrusting like bayonets. Sarah prepped me in a holding room, pantsuit crisp, hair tamed, script tight. Stick to facts. Hale's the monster, you're the survivor. Survivor. Word weighed heavy, no mention of rebirth. The cosmic reset. That stayed my talisman. Whispered to the mirror each dawn. Hale's arraignment hit first, cuffs glinting under lights. Face carved from granite. Innocent until proven, his lawyer droned. But the crowd bayed, activists from my photo series, displaced families chanting, justice for the forgotten. My turn. Flanked by feds. I stepped to the podium. Cameras flashed, blinding, biblical. Emilia Rossi, the lead agent intoned. Whistleblower in the Vanguard scandal. Questions erupted. MS. Rossi. How do you uncover the laundering? Persistence, I said, voice steady. A photo. One shot that exposed the shadows. Gasps rippled, the Polaroid. Now Exhibit A. Splashed on screens behind. Alex's face. Envelope mid-hand. This wasn't just fraud. It was lives ruined, mine included. Deep breath. The controversial pivot. They tried to silence me.
Surveillance. Threats.
And yes, a staged accident that nearly ended me. No warehouse details, too raw, too unhinged. But enough to ignite. Reporters leaned in. You dated the intern, Alexander Grant. He implicated Hale, but what about you too? Twist knife. Alex was part of it. Charming facade for a rotten core. But redemption? That's for judges.
Not me.
Murmurs. Sarah nodded. Perfect ambiguity. Let the public devour it. Toxic romance or fallen hero. Off stage. Jamie squeezed my hand. Proud. Bitch. Riley waited in the wings. Hood low. Clean getaway? Filthy win. Fallout cascaded. Hale's empire crumbled. Assets frozen. Harlan resigning in disgrace. Pax dissected by watchdogs. Trent flipped first. Plea deal for immunity. Spilling on the bookies and hits. Riley's brother's suicide. Reopened as homicide. Alex's trial was the spectacle live-streamed. Tabloid fodder. He took the stand.
Hollow-eyed.
Pleading coercion. Hale owned me. But Emilia. I loved her. Tried to warn her.
Loved.
The word curdled. Our eyes met across the courtroom, his pleading, mine stone. The prosecutor played the audio, his voice, cold as the trigger. Handle it. Jury deliberated 2 days. Guilty, conspiracy, attempted murder. 20 years. Minimum. As marshals let him out, he mouthed, sorry. I looked away. Forgiveness? Not in my lens. But the real twist dropped post-verdict. A package at my new safe apartment, government subsidized. Midtown high-rise. No return address. Inside, the original Polaroid camera. Film pack empty, but for a note in Riley's scrawl. Yours now. Develop the future. I loaded fresh film. Stepped to the window. New York sprawled, gritty, gleaming, unbroken. Snapped the skyline, towers piercing clouds. A city of secrets reborn daily. Months blurred. I freelanced, books on corruption, exhibits on surveillance states. Jamie directed her doc. Framed, the Vanguard takedown. Oscar buzz. Ironic. One night. Galleretics, not met.
But MoMA.
Black dress.
No ghosts.
Jamie on my arm. See anyone worth a shot? I scanned the crowd, philanthropists, reformed politicos. Then, him. Senator-elect Maria Vasquez. The trans activist from my Bushwick series. Rising star. Clean as they come. We talked, sparks. Real ones.
Nos a dos.
Your photos changed the fight, she said. Gave us faces. Truth does that, I replied. Hand in hers, warm. Uncalculated. Later. Rooftop again. City lights winking conspiracy. But this time, no kiss of deceit. We danced slow. Her laugh cutting the chill. Dangerous woman, she murmured. Only to wolves. Riley vanished, off-grid, chasing her own closure. Last text. You did it. Live loud. I did.
Book deal.
TED Talk. The shot that saved me. Controversy lingered. Pundits called me vindictive vigilante. Fans hailed badass Avenger. American as it gets. Heroes vilified. Truths twisted. But in quiet moments, the rebirth whispered. That warehouse death? Not end, but exposure. The ultimate develop. Negatives to positives. 1 year on, Maria and I walked the High Line spring bloom. Tourists oblivious. She paused by a graffiti wall. What now? Emilia? Empire's yours. I raised the cannon, her profile against sunset. Fierce and free.
Click.
More shots. Better stories. The final frame. Us. Laughing.
Nos a dos.
Just light. And somewhere, in the ether, Alex rotted. Hale schemed from a cell. Harlan faded to footnotes. Revenge had its price, doubt. Isolation, the scar of what-ifs. But happy? In this second life.
Yeah.
Destined? Hell. I made my fate. One photo at a time.